Hello viewers, welcome to this video lecture series on C programming language. This is the first lecture in this series. I have on my channel video lectures on computer networks and on the course operating systems, as well I have lecture videos on computer networks lab using Cisco Packet Tracer. Then I started receiving requests from many of the students to start video lecture series on C. Finally, I decided to start this lecture series. This is the first lecture video on C programming language. The title here is Introduction to C Programming. I would like to first tell you the features of the C language. It is a block structured language. So when we say, so if you look here, I have listed few features: block structured, procedural, case sensitive, portable, high level programming language. So when I say it is a block structured language, what does this means? A programming language that will permit the creation of blocks is called as a block structured language. That means you can create blocks here, and blocks nested within other blocks is also possible. It means that you can write a set of statements within the curly braces. So you are writing the statements here, but at the very beginning you are opening the flowering curly brace and then closing the curly brace here. So these two are acting as a delimiters here for the block. A block, okay, can be once again created within another block. So we say it is a nested block. That means you have one block, within this block you have another block. So this is your inner block and this is the outer block. So you can see that this type of creation of blocks is possible in C programming language, and that's the reason we call this as a block structured language. Then next is, we call it as a procedural language also, because it follows set of commands and it also uses set of functions. Case sensitive, definitely you are going to take care whenever you are writing the statements in the C programming language. You have to take care that, because the keywords, the identifiers, the variables, the constants which you are using in the programming language, you have to follow the rules of what is allowed for uppercase and what is allowed for the lowercase. For example, if you say that you started writing a statement, okay, using the keyword main, and main you have to write it like this, that means this letter M is in lower case, this will give an error. Uppercase is not allowed. That's why we say this C programming language as a case sensitive language. Portable, in a sense, you are having a program written for a computer. The same program you can execute on another computer with a different operating system also. If it is possible for you to execute that program with a different operating system, then you say that it is a portable. So C is a portable language. Then it is a high level programming language. So what do you mean by high level programming language? We can say that these programming languages can be of high level and low level. So high level is, you are using the statements which can be very easy to understand. That means the programmers can understand, the people who are reading the programs can understand using the high level language, whereas the other type of the language is called as the low level language. The lowest low level language is the machine language, and the machine language is only in terms of zeros and ones. Whereas in high level language, C is a high level language. Definitely a high level language cannot be understood by the machine. It has to get converted into low level language. For that we use a translator. Later I will tell you which type of translators are there. Now at present you can know that this C is a high level programming language. If it is a high level language, it will enable a programmer to write programs that are more easier to understand by humans. So we have C as the high level language. Even C++, Java, Python, Visual Basic, all these are the high level languages. Now let us come to the history of this language. C language is developed by Dennis Ritchie. So this person developed this language where at Bell Telephone Laboratories. And this language was named as C because it got evolved from earlier languages. Which were the earlier languages? One was BCPL and another was B. So this BCPL stands for Basic Combined Programming Language, and you have another language B. So from these two only the C language got evolved. Now this BCPL was developed by Martin Richards in 1965, and this was basically developed for writing the system software. That means the software only for the machines but not for the applications. And the language B was developed by Ken Thompson in 1970, and this was used to create early versions of Unix operating system. That means basically both these languages, whether it is BCPL or B, both were used basically for writing the system software. So the languages BCPL and B were typeless and every data occupied one word in the memory. Now if you look into the C language, we have different data types, okay, which occupies 1 byte, 2 byte. For every data type there is some space that is meant in the memory which gets occupied, but here every data whatever is there in this will get always take one word in the memory. So then finally in 1972 Dennis Ritchie, he developed the C programming language, but he retained the important features of BCPL and B. And one important thing is he added the data types and also other powerful features. C was also initially designed for developing system software like the BCPL and B, but after it became popular, it is used for creating many other applications in addition to the system software. That's the reason we call it as a general purpose language, and this was the first feature that is mentioned here. C is a general purpose language because if you look into the features of C or the characteristics of the C, this language can be used to develop both system software and application software. That's the reason we call it as a general purpose language. So in 1983, a technical committee was created under the American National Standard Institute to establish a certain specification of C. So in 1989, finally the standard proposed by the committee was approved and it is referred to as ANSI C, Standard C, or sometimes C89. To summarize here, what is that? I have put just in 2 lines here. In 1967, this language BCPL by Martin Richards was developed in order to develop the system software. Similarly here in 1970, the B language was developed by Ken Thompson to develop the initial versions of the Unix operating system. That means it was also meant for developing the system software. Dennis Ritchie not only combined the features of BCPL and B, but also added more features here and added data types, and that language is called as C, and it was developed in 1972. This is all about the introduction to C programming language. Hope you find this session useful. If you find it useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Engineering Wing. Bye bye and take care.